Alright, welcome to a new episode of D-Boss Firearms. I'm Dave. We got a lot of stuff going on this week, and we've got Dustin working on that Iver Johnson 38 cal revolver that we have to do some nickel plating on. But we haven't done a lot of nickel plating, so it's a new process to it, so you're going to want to stick around and watch how we get that done. Now I want to show you, we have a ton of auction items coming up on our next auction, and the only way you're going to be able to see those is if you visit dbossoutdoors.hybid.com, and you'll get to see all the long guns and the pistols and the ammo and the accessories, everything we've got up on it at that web address, dbossoutdoors.hybid.com. Yesterday we got in something really neat, a piece of history that we want to show you next. Alright, so one really neat item that came into the shop is this Colt New Army, manufactured in 1863. It has a naval scene here on the cylinder, and so it was made for the Navy. It came to us from an actual YouTube viewer, so pretty neat that that brought somebody in, and we bought this off of him. He found it in a storage unit, which was pretty cool. We got it with some problems, and the mainspring and the trigger spring were broken on it, but we ordered replacements, so we're going to get those replaced. There's a little bit of condition issues on it, some surface rust that's pretty rough, and the brass has tarnished there a little bit. So we're going to do our best to clean it up without actually trying to damage it or devalue it. Do it the best we can. So pretty neat that a viewer came in, brought us this piece. So if you got anything cool and you're in the Oshkosh, Wisconsin area, make sure to stop in with it.
Let her fly.
Ready? So we're back here with Dustin. Dustin's been working on that Iver Johnson 38 cal revolver, and one of the things we have to do to it is get the cylinder nickel plated. It's something we've played around with a little bit, a lot of it, and we haven't had great success until recently, so now we kind of feel comfortable at least trying it.
Yeah.
So we bought the nickel plating equipment from a larger company, at least online. Yeah. They send detailed instructions on how to complete the process. We followed everything to a T, and we couldn't seem to get it. And even trying to reach out to this company and trying to get answers on the problems that we're having, we just can't seem to get a hold of them. So this has been a lot of trial and error. So if anybody out there watching is a nickel plater and you're seeing what we're doing, if we're doing something wrong, please let us know. But otherwise, yeah, we're going to do our best here.
We even looked into getting trained from them, and they're like, "No, you got a book." It's like, oh, okay, so
yeah, and we followed the book.
We're getting there.
Yeah, so we're getting there. So, Dustin, we've got the old cylinder with us. You want to let everybody know why we're not using the old cylinder, the one that came with it?
For a couple reasons, actually. One, I can't find any of the parts to replace the parts that are missing and damaged, and two, the cylinder itself has got a whole lot of play in the ejector. So we talked to the customer, and he was like, I want it to work as good as you possibly can do it. And I said, well, bud, can I replace the whole cylinder? He said, do it. So unfortunately, the only cylinder we could find was this guy here that is not actually nickel plated. So and that's what brings us here today.
Okay, so real quick, what are we going to expect out of the nickel plate process? What are the steps to get it completed?
So we've got it all prepped. We've blasted it. We've found that if we blast it and then put the copper on and then sand the copper, we get a nice mirror finish when we hit the nickel. So it's all blasted and it's ready to get some juice put through it to start the bonding process and get that copper on there.
All right, so juice, you mean we've got a power supply?
Yeah. Yeah. We have a power supply where we can dial in the exact amperage that we can put through the parts to get the best adherence of the plating as we can get.
All right, perfect. So first step is we got to get some copper on it.
Yep.
All right, so we'll get some copper on it, and then we'll go from there.
Alrighty. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get the copper wire to have as much contact with the copper pipe as I can get, because what you can't see is the the negative charge is actually attached to the copper pipe, so then I can do more than one piece at a time, and the current will go through all the pieces. That's where we're at right now. So everything's all set. Our pumps are on, our solution is wet, and all of our electrodes are attached, so we're going to turn it on. So we're running it, right now we're running it about 3 amps, between 3 and 4 amps, depending on minor fluctuations and stuff like that. And then we're going to run that for about an hour and a half and get a nice thick coat of, well, by thick, I'm talking 10,000ths of an inch.
Alright, so it's been about an hour and a half, and we're going to pull it out from copper. So what's the next step after we pull it out?
Well, I'm going to have to sand some of the texture from the plating down a little bit so we get a nice polished finish when we go to the nickel. Kill the power and then start pulling things out. Looks... So now that it's been all plated in the copper, you can see that it's kind of got a matte finish to it. You can also see all the imperfections in the cylinder, but thankfully we're not having to worry about the perfection of the finish. And now we're going to take some 1200 grit sandpaper and just knock the matte off of it, and then it's going in the nickel. Now we're going to stop here, even though you can still see the pitting, but the problem is I'm not sure we're going to be able to do enough with the copper to fill all that pitting. Thankfully, he just wants it to match the rest of the gun, and he said it doesn't have to be perfect, so I think we're going to stop here. Plus, we don't want to add extra copper inside to mess with the tolerances of the chambers. At this point, we're ready to go to the nickel. So now that everything's done in copper, now we transfer it over to the nickel solution, and we repeat the same process.
Alright, so it's about a day after nickel plating, and so Dustin, did it work?
Well, there's nickel on it. There's a little bit of a color difference, but I think that's due to the fact that the 18 whatever nickel plating that was originally on it and the 2000 nickel plating may be a different process. But
yeah, they might not have even used electricity to plate it.
yeah, it could 100% be a chemical plating as we do electroplating.
So we're going to send off some photos to him, see what he thinks, but like he said too, it wasn't that big of a deal, I guess, just as long as it wasn't blue.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, he was wanting more of the protection of the nickel and not looking so out of place.
And he also said too that if he had an issue with it, he did have a nickel plating company that he could go to.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit of a freebie for him, so it's us just trying it out. So it got nickel, but it doesn't exactly match, and again, for those reasons, it could be just because of the process was different than what it was originally used. This might not even be nickel. This could be some kind of chrome. We're not entirely sure, but that definitely has nickel on it. So,
yeah, absolutely.
So, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in this week, and catch us on the next one. Alright, so in addition to our gun auction that we got going up, we actually have a coin auction going up. I got a buddy of mine that had some coins that he was looking to offload, and he saw our auction site, so coins are a big thing on the high bid auction site, so we thought we'd give it a try. So we do coin auctions now, so if you've got any interest in coins, collectibles, we got gold and silver, foreign coins, tokens, all kinds of cool stuff up in this coin auction that you can see at dbossoutdoors.highbid.com. And if you want to bring any coins to us to have this auctioned off for you, we can handle that too. Just make sure you reach out.